Good morning from Old Tavern Farm. We are almost into August and our tomatoes are starting to ripen. I am going to be doing a demo video on making herb pestos later today, but I thought I would do a quick garden tour so you could kind of see where all this stuff comes from. We have a huge tomato plot right here, and again they're starting to ripen up finally. Our first batch of 60-day broccoli has finished cropping for the year in this patch. So I'm just going to leave it here to try to control some of these weeds. I'm sorry about the road noise. We live a little bit, that's the only thing I don't like about this property, is that we're really in close proximity to a road. It's not a huge road, but it's still a road. And maybe someday we'll be able to find a property further out away from people and vehicles. But for now, we're gonna love this property and make the most of it. So sorry about my finger. I wanted to show you my peppers. They're doing really well. We put in long hots and we put in bells, and the bells are doing really, really well. It's kind of hard to show them in the... This is one of them. This is just one of them. There's lots. The long hots are kind of a long, skinny, and I don't use sprays or herbicides or anything on my property, so there is a lot of grass, but you know, it's just part of it. And this guy here is looking good. Now we did actually get an interesting variety called, which I found out later, is called albino sweet. Let's see if I can get a good shot of it. There we go. So that's new. It looks like a giant tooth. But so we'll try that and see. I might just have to save that seed and see if we can do another batch of it if it's not terminated. So, yep, our tomatoes are doing well. Our zucchini is starting to crop out for this season, for this bed. The other garden, the older garden over here, still has a good patch of zucchini, but this has been real prolific. It's still being prolific. I'm gonna walk through. There's lots of stuff in here. I have stuff crammed in every corner. And here is my gigantic kale. You can see that this particular, there's kale, there's my leg, there's the kale. It's really, really giant. I gotta get in here and work on it. But here is my zucchini. It's still cropping in. Now this stuff's gonna be dried. I'm gonna dry all the rest of the zucchini. I have 15 pounds that are shredded and frozen 1-pound bags in the freezer. Our zucchini, or our pickling cucumbers are doing great. They're not just pickling, you can eat them too. This is a homemade pickle variety, and I love it, and I'm gonna keep using it. It's been extremely tolerant, no trouble whatsoever, very prolific. So, and this is our huge patch of lima beans. Both my husband and I love lima beans. Our parents raised them, our mothers raised us on lima beans, and we love them. And all these beautiful flowers will come into a seed pod like this. And each of these seed pods will hold 3 to 5 large-sized lima beans. So everything's wet. It's been raining all night. So before I get too loquacious, I want to take you over to where I am cutting basil. I gotta go through the hot wire here, which is off. I'm cutting basil for my basil pesto video for later. And I gotta walk through the deer portal here. There's a 7-foot fence of deer netting around our garden. So just wanted to show you where I'm cutting my herbs for later today's video on. I like to use a lot of fresh herbs in my cooking because they're not only tasty, they're healthy. They add a lot of color. And so I'm cutting my basil for this video and also for my storage. So I have dill and pesto I use the most. Dill I use in my pickles, and I also love to eat. I must have Viking in me somewhere because the Scandinavian countries also love dill for everything, and so do I. So, but I have a full basket ready to go for later today for the video to show you all how to do your own pesto. But I just wanted to show you how when you're growing basil, it'll crop in for you all summer long and over into fall, as long as you don't get too cold. Our climate gets a little cold, but I'm trying to find where, if you'll see right here, that's actually not the best example, but here, let me walk over here. In the tops, how basil grows is the top right here will form this little sort of triangular bit right in there. That is the beginning of a seed head, a flower. So if you want it to crop in for you consistently, nip that out of there. And also you can harvest it just by picking it like that. That'll be for your basil pesto. Okay, so yeah, this garden's doing well too. It's wet and it's really struggled with predation and weeds, but we still have our cucumber. This is also homemade pickle. Our cucumber is doing well. We've got a few coming in. This was planted later after that other garden bed, so it's about 2 weeks behind the other garden. And our corn's doing well too. It's not a lot of corn. We just kind of threw in what we had. This is our, if you ever wondered what black-eyed peas look like when they're growing, this is black-eyed peas. It just got mashed with the rain last night. Black-eyed peas form a kind of a seed head like this, and that's what they grow from. Sorry about the shaking, holding it with one hand. And then we've got green beans here that I have weeded and weeded and weeded, and they still just, it's just the nature of the beast. But anyway, thank you for visiting. I'm gonna go in and get started on my pestos, and I will post that video later today. Everything's kind of quiet and sort of enjoying a little bit of Canadian air that's flooding in. And once again, thank you for visiting, and big hugs, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.